All right, welcome back, and this is screencast number 2 for chapter 24, and this chapter is sustainable solutions. So we had to end a little bit abruptly. We were talking about how do you go and figure what your campus needs, and we were talking about an audit as one of those solutions, and finding what are you doing for baseline information, so from there you can set your priorities and your goals from that. So one of the things that you would have to do, and that is measure your energy use. You all took hopefully during the summer, you're all finding out how much energy you use at home, and you're looking at different appliances, lamps and computers and televisions, and charging your cell phones, hair dryers, curling irons, anything that you use electrically that you plug in. You need to audit how much energy those use. Are you aware of the fact that even if you keep things plugged in, that they're drawing and not using it? Say that you keep your charger plugged in to the wall. Well, that's drawing energy out all day long. Small amount of energy, but if you were to unplug them during the day and you did this for a period of months, you would actually see a change in your energy consumption if everybody did that consistently. So we need to measure the energy use. We need to find out how much emissions that we're putting out, the waste that we're producing, the food that we throw away, how much water do we use, and what our transportation costs are. So those are the things that you have to find out about your institution. So we could do an audit. We could conduct an audit by the students, and we could do it as a whole class, or you can hire an outside professional to do the audit. We'll be taking a tour of our facility, the way that we heat it, and Mr. Evie will share a lot of information with you, because he does manage how much energy that we use, and he tries to make it efficient. One of the things that we need to do with audits and to consider that if they're going to be useful, they should have specific recommendations or actions that go along with it. So one of the things that you're going to see that I'm going to ask on this screencast in your PlayPosit is, do your energy audit at home, find out how much energy you're using, and then come up with a recommendation for actions that you and your family could take to reduce your energy output, your waste, your food, your water, your transportation. Okay, maybe you've doing all this, you found out that you've got some really old appliances that are drawing a lot of energy. In the long run, is it going to be more cost effective to replace those? Now, I'm not asking you to tell your parents to replace things, but these are suggestions for you to look at. Once you make changes, and let's try to do this summer, see if there's any progress. Monitor those electric bills. Monitor how much waste that you're actually putting out, and compare that to the baseline data that you collected before you started. Okay. One of the things that you could purchase, as you can see here, this allows you to time when your outlet can be active in putting energy out. So maybe this is something that you'd want to do to live sustainably. Okay, when we go back to the idea of campus efforts, campus sustainability frequently involve waste reduction, recycling, or composting. That's the easiest to do, but there's other opportunities for small-scale improvements as well. There's something called Recyclemania, and this is where schools compete to see who recycles the most over a 10-week period. Does this sound like something you might want to take on with the Mount or LaSalle? Okay. This happened within 523 schools. They participated in this event in 2013, and to see which schools were able to recycle the most. There are trash audits that can be done, and that shows how much trash can be recycled. We just got into our classrooms containers for paper, but how many, I even have a note on mine that says paper only, but we still put other things in there. So we need to really pay attention to doing this, to recycling. The information can be used to encourage more recycling. We know we do bottles and cans up in the cafeteria that we recycle as well. Okay, so here's the efforts of the school and how much they were recycling. Composting has become really popular as well. Campuses are composting a variety of materials from bulky wood waste, from furniture and pallets, to paper and food waste. Ithaca College, which is in New York State, composts about 44% of its food waste, and that saves them about $11,500 in their disposal costs. So they use this compost on the campus. They have gardens where they can put the compost in to help the plants grow. So that's something that they do. They also have on the college campus their my mind just shut off. They have an agriculture department, and they will use that within the agriculture department as well. So reuse is more sustainable than recycling. So how can we call it repurpose. How can we repurpose some of the things around the school so that we can reuse them? Unwanted items are collected and donated to charity. That's one way of repurposing them. The University of Texas, for example, collects about 40 to 500 tons of items from students as they move out in the spring, and then they sell them at a low cost when students return in the fall. So is that something else that maybe we want to consider? We do this with dresses. What about computers? How many have upgraded their computers and they have other computers that maybe they could sell to the freshmen coming in, or to sell to other people coming in that are still good and still usable? So maybe this is something that we might want to take a look at and consider for our campus. Buildings are responsible for 70 to 90% of campus's greenhouse gas emissions. So when we build, and I don't know that we're building anytime soon, but we want to encourage green buildings, and these are constructed from sustainable, energy efficient building materials. And they reduce pollution, they use renewable energy, and they encourage efficiency in water use. This is happening within our new chemistry lab that we had last year, and the lights will actually go off if there's no activity in the room to conserve energy in case the teacher forgets to turn them off. The same thing happens within the storage cabinet as well, and we have a new washing machine, a dishwasher that uses a little bit of water as well. So the leadership in energy and environmental design lead that we talked about, these standards guide the design and the certification of construction and renovation of buildings. So if we wanted to do something on campus, if we were going to build, then maybe we could look into LEED. I don't know that we're going to be building anything soon though, so that might not necessarily apply to us. So De Anza College's Kirsch Center for Environmental Studies does have the Platinum LEED ranking. It's energy and water efficient, and it's solar powered. The materials are made from non-toxic recycled renewable materials, recycled steel, plastic, and something called fly ash. I just bought this summer some t-shirts that are actually made out of recycled water bottles. Each t-shirt is made out of 5 bottles. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, plastic, how could it be cool? And it's really cool and comfortable, and it washes well and it wears well. So these are some of the things that can be done. The Adam Joseph Lewis Center at Oberlin College in Ohio also used recycled or reused building materials and has energy efficient lighting and heating and appliances. And they've added solar energy from PV panels, and we're going to talk about solar energy and how these panels work in a later chapter, which is referred to passive solar heating. Some buildings using these PV panels can even sell the energy, the extra energy that they have, which earns an income for the colleges. So here's the Kirsch Center so that you can see what it looks like inside and out. Okay, Brent Hall at the University of Santa Barbara, California also uses solar panels and white roofing. Why do you think white roofing would be used? Hopefully you're thinking, well, when it's black, it's going to absorb more heat. And absorbing more heat is going to make it hotter. When you have white roofing, it's going to reflect and stay cooler, and they use recycled materials. They have few toxic substances within the infrastructure, and they also practice water conservation. There are lots of universities that have gone to LEED certified buildings when they build and design, and this is helping to push the movement of green buildings and helping it to grow. Even the University of Florida has started construction on 18 green buildings, and that was back in 2003, and as they continue to expand, they do the same thing. So sustainable design is not limited to just the building, but it's also important to consider the landscaping. Using native plants that require little irrigation or water is important, as well as they help prevent erosion. And in our quads, we planted trees to help keep the classrooms cooler, so we don't have to use as much energy in the summertime or in the warmer weather in cooling the classrooms. So that was something that we had considered when we were planting the trees in the quad. So here's some other examples. You know that the music room and art room, they have a lot of windows, and that's to help reduce the amount of light energy that we use, so you don't always have to have all the lights on, and that's a positive move that the school made when they were designing that end. All right, I'm going to stop here. We're 13 minutes in, but I'm going to stop here and we'll start with water conservation in the next screencast.